Hello and a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world, and welcome to today's Postgrad Insights. This is set to be an extremely popular session with Kingston University London talking about their postgraduate offerings. A reminder that today's session is live, so if you have any questions at all, please use the chat facility to say hi, where you're from, or the Q&A facility to ask any questions for the Q&A at the end of the session. Just before I hand you over, a reminder that if you are watching on demand on one of our platforms, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, any other social media channel, or our website, to email webinars@postgradsolutions.com, and we'll pass your detail over to Ben or any of the aforementioned people. But for now, I'd like to hand you over to Ben. Ben will be taking you through the next 30 to 45 minutes. I'll be back for the Q&A at the end. A reminder to put your questions in the Q&A, and I'll be back for that point. Over to you, Ben.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So, welcome everyone. So, today we'll be taking a deep dive into the world of postgraduate study. We'll be exploring kind of the different options you have, what kind of courses are on offer, what entry criteria are needed, and to learn a bit more about what Kingston has to offer you and your next steps. Today, I'm joined by some of our student ambassadors who will meet a little bit later in the webinar. And we've also got someone from our placement team because placements are definitely a big part of postgraduate study and something I bet you kind of all want to know a little bit more about and how all of that works. So we're going to jump straight into it. And obviously, I think the first thing to really talk about is why should you pursue a postgraduate degree? And I think it's really important to say, we do recognize that pursuing a postgraduate degree is a significant investment of both time and money. I think there is no understatement in that. But there are a lot of benefits for doing it. Whether you're progressing directly from an undergraduate degree or you're looking to update your skills whilst employed, there are a few different ways that, a postgraduate degree can really push you amongst the crowd and get you to be wherever you want to be in the future. So obviously the most obvious one of that is to advance your career by opening different doors to higher level positions. And with that, you would hope would come increased earning potential. And it was recently reported by the Higher Education Statistic Agency that postgraduates do earn 23% more than undergrads. So there is that significant investment, from your time, your money now, that in the long run, it definitely makes an impact on your career prospects and your earning potential, which we all wish for, let's be honest. Um, Other things are, if you are potentially in a current career path and you're potentially thinking about going somewhere new, this is a great opportunity to transition, gain those necessary skills and qualifications. Things less thought about is the network opportunities and connections that lead to kind of valuable collaborations. So we're based in London, and there are so many different industries and leading people from the industry and professionals that you get to work with. So it opens doors to things you would never think you would have access to. And I think that's really important. And obviously also gaining those specialized skills and expertise, that's really important. So I'm going to quickly run through obviously a bit about us, give you a better context before we talk to our student ambassadors so you know what they're talking about in relation to their studies, but also you've got an idea of what Kingston is like and what we offer. So again, choosing the right university is a really big decision, and not every university will be the perfect fit for each person. So we really recommend you do your research and what they can offer. For instance, I think a big one is what quality of teaching does a university offer? Um, here at Kingston, we are kind of really committed to high quality teaching, providing outstanding student experiences and supporting our students to achieve successful degree outcomes. This was recently recognized by Kingston gaining the gold rating in the Teacher Excellence Framework. So this is a framework that is run by the Office of Students, and it ranks higher education's on student experience, student outcomes, and provides an overall rating for every single university in the United Kingdom. And pretty much what this saw was that Kingston got a gold rating in all of these aspects. So it showed that students really love what we're doing. Employers are finding what our graduates have really valuable, and our teaching is some of the best in the country. And it saw Kingston join an elite lineup of 26 universities across the UK, such as Oxford, Cambridge, and Exeter. So we're really proud of that. And it kind of really goes to demonstrate what we're doing at Kingston is hopefully the right path, we think, for our students. For postgraduates looking at research degrees, we're pleased to know that 70% of our research is either rated as world leading or internationally excellent. So there's a real big um, community of collaboration, fostering different discourses and knowledge production. So there's a really great kind of hub for ingenuity, enterprising, and research, which I think as a postgraduate student, you'll be really great to be part of that community. Um, Maybe you're quite an innovative person and you have your own ideas and your own knowledge, and you just really want to test that out in industry. Kingston's really great at kind of enabling you to start your own company, be enterprising. We're one of the top higher educations nationally for graduate startups, and over the course of the years, I've really seen some really great students bring up some great ideas and test out an industry and yeah, make their mark and make their journey, and they've started creating their own enterprising ideas and have enabled that in industry. It's great to see. And there's a lot of support on campus for helping you build that and support you as you build your own businesses. So if that's something you're interested in, we can help you do that. Um, Moving on to the next slide. So just quickly, obviously, with all these amazing students doing amazing things, I think, you definitely need world-class research and facilities. At Kingston, we continue investing a lot of our learning environments. There's so many great things you can do. For instance, we've got engineering courses where they've got zero gravity machines, and they've got like model rockets they go on. I'm a graduate on undergraduate. I did my postgraduate, but that was at a different institution. But I did my undergraduate at Kingston in Fine Arts. And I got to use a thing called a phantom camera. There's only 10 in the country, and they take so many frames per second. It's ultra slow-mo. And the amount of things you can manipulate the image with is really incredible. And I would never have access to that. And I haven't had access to things like that since I was at Kingston. So it's really great to be able to kind of test and experiment with world leading facilities, I guess. And I just want to quickly talk about future skills. So we are the UK's leading university for future skills. This is kind of a progressive model of education that is designed to help all new graduates become sought after for their knowledge, skills, and ability to innovate. So this kind of progressive model is informed by research conducted with YouGov, and the university has identified 9 graduate attributes most valued by employers. These are things like creative problem solving, digital competency, being enterprising, like we talked about earlier. And this model is being backed up by a lot of leading businesses, including MasterCard, JP Morgan, Coca-Cola, Adobe, John Lewis, and a lot more. There's so many more kind of creating partnerships with Kingston out of this. It's really great to see. So what this kind of means is since 2021, Kingston's been driving a major skills revolution in higher education and helping shape the skills agenda in UK political circles. As it stands, unfortunately, Future Skills has not been rolled out and embedded in our postgraduate courses yet. But what this means for postgraduate students is that you benefit from the growing network of UK and international businesses, brands, and organizations that are partnership with Kingston. So those networking abilities, those different opportunities on campus, off campus, working with different industries, it's all kind of being created around this activity around future skills. So you have a lot of benefits from just being at the university. So I've talked a bit about what I think makes us great, but most of you might not know where we are. So we are in the Royal Borough of Kingston upon Thames, which is a borough of Greater London. So we are about 30 minutes from central London. It's connected by great like rail networks and industry links. Where I am in Kingston, I'm a bit closer to the Surbiton, which I can get a fast track train into Waterloo, London Waterloo, which is right at the centre, in 15 minutes. So you can get into central London like that. And I guess what our students really enjoy is because it isn't on the centre of London, you're not getting the same house prices, you're not getting the same cost of living, which is really great. Many of our students at Kingston like living in the area because it's continues rated as one of the safest boroughs in London. The way I would describe it is it's where leafy Surrey meets the kind of hustle and bustle of London, if that makes sense. It's kind of really the best of both worlds. I came from quite a rural area, and there's a lot of green royal parks like Richmond Park, Bushy Park. You've got the river, you've got many bars, clubs, and lots of like museums around as well. And there's a thing called Banquet Records that put on gigs. So there's a lot of activity, everything of London there, but it's also green space, and you can kind of just take a step back and relax and not be feel like you're around about 1,000 people. So it's quite good being the best of both worlds. Um, yeah, and that's kind of why a lot of our students like it. Talking about students, and now that I've given you some idea of what Kingston is like, I would like to bring both of my student ambassadors, Annabelle and Sin, onto camera. If you could turn your camera and mics on, please. And I think this would be a good opportunity to kind of talk to you about your experience at Kingston and how you are finding it. So if you guys can turn on your cameras, please, and your mics. Amazing. So first off, I think obviously let's introduce ourselves, and can you share what you study at Kingston? Annabelle, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone. My name is Annabelle, and I'm studying Masters in Adult Nursing at Kingston University. Just recently finished. So yeah.
Amazing. And Sin, have you been able to get your camera and mic on? Let me know if you have issues with that. Um, and then we can go through there. I think whilst Sin,
Yeah,
oh, there you
let
go.
me, yes, I will turn on my camera later because I need to find a place to sit.
Yeah, no
Let me
worries.
introduce myself. I am study filmmaking MA in Kingston and almost finishing. I'm doing my graduation project at the moment. Yes.
Amazing. So yeah, both of you quite near the end, so you'll be able to tell us exactly, your journey from start to finish, and both quite varying courses there as well. Um, I think a main question I've got is kind of why did you study to do a postgraduate course? More generally, but also at Kingston, what drew you to the university and your course, I guess? Annabelle, shall we start with
Okay.
you?
Yeah, no problem. So for me, I would say Kingston stood out to me particularly for my course, nursing, because of the it's highly rated. It's a highly rated uni in London for nursing courses. And apart from that, when I was doing my research, they had like very strong links with reputable like NHS Trust. And in terms of like London's leading NHS, and I just found that it would be a good experience for me to just have that training and experience in those kind of trusts. Apart from that, I would say like the academic learning is really, really good. The placement experience that I got from like past students before me that told me about the course and the uni as well, like really piqued my interest in Kingston. And also during my whole application process, anytime I had any issues or difficulties with anything, there was that hands-on support experience that I really, really loved, because I was like, there are times you get confused and don't really know like the next step to take or what you need to do. So just someone always being there to answer your calls or just reply to emails and just give you like detailed explanation on what you need to do just gave me that confidence that I'm going for the right university for me. So yeah, and also like the location was really good for me too.
Amazing. Yeah, it's really great to hear that you've had that support. And like you said, placements is quite a big thing. And we'll be
Yeah.
talking more about that and going into more details later on in the
Yeah.
presentation. Sing, how about you? Why did you choose Kingston? Why did you choose to do a postgraduate degree at this time? What's your experience been like?
Because Kingston Art School, School of Arts, is amazing. It's like one of the highest ranking in the country. And most importantly for me, it's really, really cheap compared to most of all university I compared to do filmmaking and art. The price is really good. And also you get the access to every facility. If you're one of the art school student, you can use anything in our school. And I love the campus in our school. And also, like, one thing is really helpful. They provide a lot of training workshops that allows you to have real contact and opportunity to touch equipment. So in June, I just got my ARRI Alexa Mini, a fancy filmmaking camera certificate. And I think I haven't heard from any other university, any other filmmaking courses provide that training and also provide that certificate. That is like super worth the price. And other than my course, school also provide a lot of opportunity, such as student ambassador that we are doing right now. And in student ambassador, there's plenty of internship opportunity. So you can always get hands-on experience and also a good pay compared to other job that you can do outside as waiter. It's a really good pay and you can put in your CV. So overall, it's really nice and helpful to do this course in Kingston University.
Amazing, yeah. And just for context, for those who don't know, student ambassadors is kind of a role we offer at the university. A lot of UK universities do it, where it's kind of paid work on campus. There's lots of different roles you do, such as this. Our students are being paid today to do this. They're paid London living wage, which I think is £14, if you guys can remember me. It's like
And it's really good wage compared to working outside in restaurant. Yeah, it's holiday
exactly.
pay add-on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm definitely not biased. I agree with you that Kingston School of Art is amazing. I'm definitely not saying that as a graduate of the art school. Yeah, I think you've covered my next question actually, what the facilities are like. But what I would like to know is kind of how is your course structured? Because I think that's a lot of students would like to know, what's the timetable like? Have you got opportunities to volunteer? Are you guys part of any societies? Are you part of any extracurricular workplace and stuff like that? What are you kind of getting involved with? Does your course allow that? And what does the timetable look like? We'll go again back with Annabelle first, if that's all right.
Okay. So for me, I would say the nursing course can be quite intense, but it's very rewarding because the way the course is structured is you're getting the best of everything basically. So we have the lectures. It's not just lectures all the time, Monday to Friday. So we have different blocks where we have lectures. We have skills and simulation. So the skills and simulation take place on Kingston campus. So it's basically just like the same thing you will see in the hospital ward, have that replicated on the campus. So we come to school, we have role players that act as patients or just coming to like an A&E scenario, or we have mannequins as well where they used to teach us vital signs and just like basic skills we need to know. So it's basically just like you're getting the real world experience ahead before you go to the hospital and take care or learn how to care for the real life patients. So apart from that, they pull us out in placement blocks as well, where we go into the hospital. So it's like various fields. They can send you to oncology ward. You can be in the community and like work with this district nurses or just work in a clinic. You can also be in like elderly patient wards, taking care of patients with dementia. And this is just for adult nursing. For children nursing and mental health, it's different. You go on placements that have to do with your field of nursing. So it's just like a wide range of learning. Sorry, apart from that, what was your question again? apart from
It
the
was just around, yeah, timetabling, if you've been involved in any society stuff like that, which I think you've slightly covered.
For societies, I would say like there are lots of societies. We have the Kingston Student Union and they offer like loads of societies. You can even create like a society of your own. For me, I would say apart from the nursing society, I don't think I was in any other society just because like if I'm not working part-time as a student ambassador, I'm on placement or I have essays to write and the rest of that. But there are loads of societies that you guys can definitely get involved in, create one for yourself, maybe just you and a group of your friends. And yeah.
Amazing. And yeah, same. How's your experience been? What's the timetable like? Okay, say Kingston School of Art is a little bit different from nursing, so you might be able to kind of share what the difference is between faculties.
It's really high schedule for 1 year course. You need to do a lot of project, and at the same time, you need to write essay for all of them. So in the first term, it was okay-ish that I could still participate some society, but then after the summer term, to prepare for the graduation project, there's a lot of course to do before that. So it's just so much practical stuff to practice and get my hands into the project. So I really didn't have that much time to do some society and stuff, but I do have time to do student ambassador because I need some money to survive in this city. But there are still, yeah, there's plenty of society you can join. And I was considering to join the sports society. I think it's pay 50 or 30 pounds, and you can go to every sports society to do badminton, to do dancing, and everything you can join. But because my timetable just couldn't align with their schedule, so I was just focusing on my project. And as a filmmaking student, I don't know if there's any of you that's filmmaking student, but I could just quickly mention that we did some documentary project, fiction project, and between that, this little assignment to train your cinematography skills, some little individual project, and you can also learn sound design. So it covers really a lot of things that I couldn't really do when I was in bachelor. I also studied filmmaking in bachelor, but not that much practical experience then. And now in 1 year, I'm really touching everything. So that's why it's really tight.
Amazing, yeah. It definitely is, especially at postgraduate level. It can be a little bit trickier. You mentioned it being busy, being a lot. Again, you're both at the stage of either finished or finishing. This may change, your opinion might have changed, a year on after you finished, but how's your experience been? Have you enjoyed it? Like I say, it's a lot. I know firsthand how much I did a master's. It's a lot of work, but I found it very rewarding. Have you guys enjoyed the experience? Do you think it was worthwhile? What's your opinion on that?
I got a lot of things to put in my portfolio, like so many things I didn't have the motivation to push myself to do in this course in just 1 year. They push us to do a lot of project and develop a lot of ideas. So it is really rewarding as creative person.
Amazing. How about you, Annabelle? Especially as someone have you graduated or just about to graduate, aren't you?
Just about to graduate in January. So just recently finished my final placement. Yeah. So for me, I would say every part of it was a good experience. I would say my favorite experience were the placements because I remember when I started not knowing anything and just being like very nervous and anxious at the beginning of my first ever placement. But just looking back at just finishing my final placement, I would say like each placement I had like brought me to that moment and just gave me that positive push and confidence I needed to be where I am now. So I wouldn't like trade the experience for anything because it's just been worthwhile, it's been rewarding, and it's just been like a refreshing experience although it's been challenging. There are times when it's challenging, especially when you have some supervisors that expect you to know everything, but you're still a student, but because you're at that stage where you're like, oh, you should know this, you should know that, but you still learn every day. So I would say placements have been like the highlight of my experience. Another thing is just like meeting people from like different backgrounds, classmates, just random people at the uni, and just like making friends and trying to support each other like throughout the whole thing has been like a really good experience for me
Mm.
as well. And yeah, I would say being a student ambassador, I've been able to like work in so many different like places. I've been able to advance myself with learning like new skills that nursing itself didn't teach me or give me. But working as a student ambassador has been able to also give me that confidence to know how to like relate with people as well. And yeah.
Amazing, yeah. Thank you both for those insights. I'm sure our audience in a bit, when we get around to the Q&A, will have many questions for you. What I'm going to do now is just talk about courses at Kingston and a bit more about, the entry criteria, and then we will go on to more details around placements. As you heard from Annabelle, it's something really great to do, so we'll talk about more about that in just a bit. So yeah, at Kingston, there are a full range of full-time and part-time postgraduate programs. Many postgraduate courses offer the flexibility of starting either January or September. This allows you to kind of tailor your studies to your personal schedules, commitments. We have 4 faculties. Two of them you've heard from, Kingston School of Arts. We've got kind of healthcare sciences. We've got an engineering, science, computing faculty. And then we've gone and got the business school where we've got marketing, journalism, and a lot more. So there's a lot of different subject areas you can go into. So there's a lot on offer there. And a lot of them are accredited, which is really quite important to a lot of our students. Um, what I would say is, because there is so many different courses, is if there is any courses that you are looking for, you can find the full details on our website. And also it will tell you exactly around the application process on the website as well, which I will talk just slightly about in the next slide. Oh, went past it. There we go. So yeah, applying we can do it straight through our website. If any of you have done an undergraduate in the United Kingdom, you usually do that for UCAS. It's different from postgraduate studies. You do that directly through the university. We have a lot of different courses with different entry criteria, and all of it is outlined on our course page. Again, some of that might ask you for kind of a personal statement, some might have interviews attached to it, some might have portfolio requirements. Again, all of it is outlined on the web pages. And once you make an application, generally, it takes between 3 to 10 days for an application to be reviewed. I would say more on the 3 to 4 days, but if there's bank holidays, stuff like that, it can take a little bit longer. But generally speaking, I've not seen many applications go past 5 days without an answer. So it's a pretty quick process, and we'll let you know if there's still places and if you've got a place. I want to quickly talk about funding. So if you get an offer from Kingston or any other university, we recommend you get your finances in place. You can find the full details of tuition fees on our website. It varies for, if you're doing a master's, a PhD, so forth. And if you are a home fee status or a international fee status, so that's depends on what kind of fees you pay. If you are a UK student or resident in England and are aged over 60 years of old, 60 age, you may be eligible for a government loan from Student Finance. For a master's loan, also known as a postgraduate loan, you receive up to £12,858 as a loan for studying a master's course from the government. It's useful to know that you can borrow the full amount even if your course costs less. However, if your cost costs more, you do have to fund the rest yourself. It's also worth noting that unlike an undergraduate loan, if you got one from Student Finance in the UK, the money is paid directly to your bank account opposed to paying directly to the university. What this means as well is you are unfortunately unable to get a maintenance loan like you did as an undergraduate student. So you'll need to kind of use the money between paying the tuition fees and your living costs. This does make funding a little bit trickier and budgeting trickier. It is doable for sure. And we have a lot of support at university on campus to help you. If you're studying a PhD, you can get a doctorate loan. This is currently a separate type of loan and it's paid at a maximum of £30,301 for the duration of your course. You can apply for the postgraduate loan at any year of your course, but if you apply after the first year, you might not get the maximum amount. So that's kind of a little bit on the loans. You can find more information on the government website if you are eligible for that. There are many T's and C's and dots and squiggles that I will not be able to go into further because it all depends on your situation. And that also goes around scholarships and bursaries, which I'll talk about. We offer a lot of postgraduate scholarships and bursaries that you can find on our website, which has how much it is, what eligibility there is, and how to apply. Again, lots of those have lots of dots and T's and C's depending on your eligibility. Depends on, it might be your situationship, you might be from a low income family, it might be specific for a certain course. So there's a lot of different conditions where I won't be able to go into full details in this. But if you did end up applying, Kingston always runs a postgraduate funding webinar, which I run, and we go into more details there. And also there is a lot of support on the website. Places like postgraduate.com has lots of helpful insights as well. I was able to actually 70% fund my master's course through scholarships, bursaries, from applying to a lot of different places. So I'm happy giving tips if anything comes up there. But generally speaking, that's kind of where I'll leave it with funding for now, because it is a bit of a minefield based on people's situations. And for the last slide from me, I just want to talk about what support and facilities there are. So kind of as we've already highlighted, there's a lot of great facilities here. And I think most importantly for you guys is there's a lot of support on campus. So we have health and well-being support. So that's things like, we have an on-campus health service, we have a disability support team, mental health resources. So if you ever needed this, which we don't hope you need any of the health services, you can draw upon it if you need it. We have academic assistance, so that's student support, that's skill workshops, that is personal tutors to help you navigate your kind of academic journey. We also have a careers team who helps you with things like preparing for interviews, CV writing, and also we have an alumni team that helps you after graduating. I graduated my undergraduate at Kingston 9 years ago. I am still getting the support and emails from the alumni team where they are able to, they're connecting with people in that industry. Even though I work at Kingston, they don't realize that. But it'll be the same for you guys. They'll be putting stuff relating to your industry, saying you've got opens here, we can help you get connections here. So there's that support after you graduate, which is great. And I think the last thing just from me is, the university itself, we have about 148 not courses, 148 nationalities represented on campus. So it's quite a very diverse community. We have a lot of different spaces for either religious kind of needs. So if you need a prayer, there's spaces for that. We have a like multi-sensory and quiet space and meditation space. As a neurodivergent person who gets overwhelmed and kind of gets multi-sensory overload, that's a great space that students use and they can do that. So there's a lot of things there. As Annabelle said, there's a lot of societies. There is, for instance, I've got another student ambassador who runs she created herself, the Bengali Society, to connect like people from those communities. So there's a lot there to connect you, feel inclusive, to create a kind of space of collaboration in the community. So I think it's really good and really important to mention. I reckon you're probably sick of hearing me talk, so I am going to, if I can move on to the next slide. I think my internet might have broke. Sorry, I think you lost me for a second there. My internet dropped, but I'm going to pass over to 2 seconds. There we go. So I'm going to pass over to placements and pass you over to Elvia. Do you want to introduce yourself and then talk about placements?
Hi, Ben. Thank you so much. Good morning to everyone who is listening. Thank you for having me today at the session. I am Elvia and I am a senior placement coordinator. I work here at Kingston University within the placement central team. And we assist students and support students with a variety of placement-related activities. So I've actually added our email address on the slide. If any of you would like to get in touch, please do that and we'll be very happy to respond. So the email address is placements@kingston.ac.uk. And I have prepared a few slides just to go through, as I said, the support which we provide to students, placement requirements, and the types of placements they are available as well at the university. So firstly, there are optional placements as well as compulsory ones. So my team looks after the optional professional placements. There are lots of postgraduate courses that offer the one-year placement option after completing their taught modules. And you should be able to access those on our website. The compulsory placements, again, some courses like nursing or midwifery, they include mandatory placements, so they are compulsory, they are different from the optional ones. And they are arranged by the school, the department, and they are shorter compared to the long year placements. And then there are industry-specific placements, again, courses in areas like civil engineering, business publishing, often are tailored placements for those courses. In terms of the format of the placements, some of them are in person, so you need to be basically attending those placements in the various locations. But we would actually consider hybrid placements. Again, they are depending, and again, we will be accepting those placements if they are available. Thank you, Ben. Next slide. So in terms of giving you an overview, as I said, now I'm talking about those optional placements, which are those which are managed by the placements team specifically. So these are long placements. They are 10 to 12 months long for September cohort and 9 to 10 months long for the January cohort. The timing, the placement will start after you've completed your academic studies. We do have deadlines by when you can apply for a placement. And for those of you who will be joining Kingston University and willing to or interested in doing a placement, we will be in touch, and obviously we will be sharing all the details about the timing and the rest of it. But this is just a basic information to share. In terms of the assessment, placements are an assessed part of the course and are contributing to your final qualification. For those of you who are on a visa, there are visa considerations. So when you apply for your course, if you do want to go for placement here, you must apply for a 2-year visa to accommodate the placement here. However, do not worry, because we do have students who start the university just with 1-year visa because they don't think they want to do a placement. And then they come to our workshops and they change their mind. And then as long as you do find a placement opportunity, secure a placement opportunity, you will be able to be switched over the placement year. And obviously then you need to go through the visa requirements and pay the fees and the rest of it. But just to give you an idea. And again, when you select your course, you need to choose the 2-year course option, including placement, if you think you are interested in that. Self-secured, so the difference between the optional placements and the compulsory placements is that with compulsory placements like nursing or midwifery, they are shorter and they are within their course. And the university will kind of assign the student to a placement opportunity. Whereas with the optional placements from our team, then is the students who need to secure a placement. So it is your responsibility to find a placement opportunity, although we do support, and the next slides will give you, some ideas of our support. So in terms of the requirements though, so it has to be relevant to your course. So let's say if you're studying biomedical science, you can't go and do something which could be more related into fashion. So it needs to be related to your course, although there is some degree of flexibility. It must be employed, so it cannot be a self-employed position. And it must be a fixed term contract. So if you find a permanent role, it would be very good for you, but it wouldn't be kind of part of your placement. So again, we can give you some details during the year. It must be based in the UK. However, again, there is some flexibility in there because we do have students going abroad. It depends on the faculty and depends on the courses, on the course that you are studying. So a lot of students from Kingston School of Art, they go abroad for their placement. Maybe in life science is not an option as much because students tend to find placements which are based in labs, although, as I said, it's not just labs, you can do a variety of placement. So again, there is a flexibility, although the majority of placements, I should say, they are based in the UK. Minimum, you need to find a placement that is 30 hours a week. For us, if it's 30 hours a week, it's would be considered as a placement opportunity. Full-time, it can be up to 40 hours a week. We have students going for 37.5, which is the usual requirement in the UK, but obviously, some of the students from the shorter placements, and some others, they are required to work 42 hours plus. As I said, in terms of timings, 9 to 10 months for January students, whereas in your case for September students would be 10 to 12 months. And you must be paid, again, the London living wage, if you're working in London, I think is in the region of £13.95 per hour at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, just below the £14. And if you're outside of London, you have to be paid the national minimum wage. This is for the majority of the courses, although we do have some courses whereby we are allowing an unpaid placement. Specifically, there are courses in biomedical science whereby students are allowed to find unpaid placements. They usually go into NHS trusts, and we tend to share those opportunities. And this is allowed because the trusts, they are actually helping the students to create their portfolio. So then after their placement, they can apply and they can become, they can register basically within their area of expertise. And lastly, it must be covered by employers' liability insurance. So all employers will have that. And it's important because if something happened, God forbid, whilst you are on placement within that company, we need to be sure that is a safe environment for you. So we look after yourselves as well as the employers. And you cannot start your placement until it's been approved by our team. So that's very important as well. And as we usually say when we have workshops, we usually tell students, please communicate with us, keep in touch with us, tell us if you've got a placement on the pipeline, if the employer wants to have a chat with us, we are here to help you throughout your journey. So in terms of industry partnerships, so we collaborate with a variety of partners, employers at different levels. And it is extremely important part of the role as well. And we also communicate and work with some other colleagues of ours in the employers engagement team and career advisors, because all together we can help you in your placement journey. So we actively support students, so we will be supporting you by sharing placement opportunities as they become available. We use Canvas to do that, to other apps like In Place and other, internally Handshake and other opportunities, other apps that are internal to the university. However, as I said at the beginning of the presentation, it is the student responsibility to find a placement, although we share opportunities throughout the year, and we support as much as we can. In terms of suggestions, in order to maximize success in finding an opportunity, placement opportunity, we encourage students to use the job platforms like LinkedIn, Indeed, Prospects, and many others. Set up an alert, filter depending on the kind of course you're looking for, the kind of placement you're looking for. I do that for the students, our students, and I do receive alerts which I then share. So obviously, if you do that, it would be great. And LinkedIn is also great for starting networking with potential employers. Attend networking events and career fairs, which we organize both within the placements team, employers engagements team, and other areas within the university. Reach out to alumni and industry professionals. Again, I think LinkedIn is a great way of doing it. And we suggest students when we deliver workshops to follow us on LinkedIn. And that's a great way of start networking. And engage with the careers and employability team for tailored support. As I was saying before, the career advisors, they are part of the careers team, and they can help you with your CV, cover letters, how to set up your LinkedIn profile, and lots of other help and support that you might need throughout your year at Kingston University. That is obviously not specifically to placement, is in general, but obviously for us, for placement is very important as well. Benefit of doing a placement, as Annabelle actually was just saying, it was great to have her as explaining the reason why she think it was great to have the placement embedded as part of her course, because of the learning she managed to achieve whilst doing that. So obviously you gain practical skills and real world experience, which is going to be great on your CV at the end of your placement year. You can start networking with professionals by connecting and exploring potential employment opportunities whilst you are working for those companies. You get in touch with different suppliers, with different teams. Sometimes I've had students who managed to get a permanent role after their placement. So there are lots of good stories to share. You will be enhancing your employability skills, again, because you will be more competitive into the job market after you've had your year experience through your placement. And you're going to get academic credit, because this is a credit bearing. So you will be basically you will be finishing your master with the placement attached to it. So it's again, it will be great for it's great for students. Oh, I was quick. And thank you for listening to me. This was just a short summary. So Ben, if anybody has any questions, obviously I've shared the details of the placements email address. Thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you, Elvia, and thank you, Ben, as well. If you don't mind me coming in at this point, we do have a few questions come in, and I think it's important to touch upon the things that maybe we haven't been through rather than just the things that we have been through. Ben, if I can start with accommodation, one of the questions that came in, and we've not really covered it. I mean, it's so much to cover in the space of 45, 50 minutes. It's impossible sometimes. And that's why I'd recommend any student that's looking to find out more information, does more than one webinar, does their research properly and thoroughly, because it just might be that it's not the right place for you to live, but it is the right place for you to study, so you can live nearby rather than in the town of Kingston. But talk to me more about the accommodation situation. Do you offer housing on campus? And if you don't, what's it like in the area?
Yeah, of course. So many of you, so we got a lot of students that do commute in from London, so a big proportion of us do that. I think that's why I left it out a little bit here, but I definitely will talk about what halls of residence we have. So Kingston, in the town of Kingston itself, we have 5 different halls of residence that is connected to each of our 4 campuses by a free university bus that we run. So a lot of these different halls offer different forms of living. So we've got ones that we've got certain blocks that are straight just for postgraduate students. You know, that might be for students who are looking for more relax less, go out party with the undergraduate students, these youngsters. It's more relaxed if that's kind of what you want. For instance, out of Seething Wells, halls of residence, they're all en suite. We offer a range of budget accommodation alongside some more kind of other options depending on what your tastes, your living costs, and etc. What I recommend doing is going onto our website. We've got 360s, you can look at it. Again, a thing I actually haven't said is if you do want more information, obviously, and you are nearby, come to an open day, come see us on campus. You can go into those halls, you can do that. And also, we do offer virtual open days and other webinars. So there is, like you said, the options to do that. Kingston is a very big student town, so there is a lot of our students and a lot of our postgraduate students live in private accommodation. Um, they vary in price, but like I think Sim was saying, and I said earlier, because it's not in central, the housing cost is much lower. That's something I liked. I did my postgraduate in central London at the Royal College of Art. I stayed in Kingston because it was cheaper. And I live with Kingston students. So that kind of shows, even with me traveling, it was a cheaper option to do. So I think a lot of our students like it for that reason. And yeah, if you want more information, just go onto our website and you can view it all there.
I think that's a really important point as well. Obviously, within the industry, we speak at Postgrad Solutions to a lot of marketing people, a lot of people within careers that actually work in the likes of Brighton. They work in on the South Coast, in Essex, some of them. It's so accessible, isn't it? And,
Yeah.
post education as well, when they've got a job like yourself, you're choosing to live in Kingston, and go to Royal College of Art in central London. That's so important. Talk to me about how one would go about finding out how it's the right property for them in terms
Mm,
of that kind of stage, because it is a full process, and quite often it's the
yeah.
last thing that students will look at. And I know this isn't necessarily a question just for you, this will be for the
Mm.
provider, the third party. How important again is it that they're getting the right property and it's the right place to live for them?
No, I think that's a really good question, and it kind of goes back to the support. And again, there's so much support at Kingston that I haven't even been able to answer or even touch upon. We have got accommodation team that we've got. So, for instance, if you want wanting to go into our halls of residence that we own, that we sort all of our students out ourselves, there are private halls in Kingston. I think there's 4 or 5 of them. So, like I said, it's a big student population there, and then we've got trusted. Um, Kind of private landlords, housing agencies that we work with that we know, are fit for students to be in. They are affordable, and we've got the resources from the accommodation team to kind of show you what to do with when you're signing an agreement, what to look out for, because the least thing we want to do is we know, as you guys probably know, it isn't a kind world out there. There are people that are looking to scam people, stuff like that. So we help you to ensure that everything's legit and that you know exactly what to look out for when signing agreements. So I would say the support's all there. Again, if you want more information about that, we run 2 or 3 accommodation webinars a year, so we can help you with those direct questions when you got it. And I would just say email in saying, I've found this place. Is it legit? What do I do now? And they'll be able to answer you in 1 or 2 days' time, usually.
Cool. We're going to stick on the career support services as well, or just support services in general. It's such a key thing now you mentioned there
Mm.
about those, it can be a unkind world. What kind of support services are there available for the students, such as, I mean, we touched upon career advice already, but academic writing support, mental health services, and any other, it could be financial as well. What's in place there to help the student?
Yes, there's as I've said, there's a lot. So in terms of academic, I think I touched upon it earlier, but obviously we've got kind of academic helping. We've also got kind of a mentoring system and a peer system. A lot of our courses offer personal tutors, so there's those touch points with academics, so they've got that academic support throughout their degree. We've got things like if you are an international student and you were not necessarily the most um, secure is not the right word, but confident in your English. We've got English kind of language kind of courses to help you. We've also got you've mentioned things about like health and mental health. We've got mental health support. We've got our own clinic services on campus, and we also work with partners in and around Kingston. So we've got that on support services there. If you have an accessibility or kind of disability, we've got a team that will help you with that. And they will talk about what adjustments you might need during your course. And we will work with you in dialogue to see what you need rather than applying something upon yourself. And maybe that's not necessarily that's something that will help you. So I think with all these support services, there's a lot there. And it's all about creating a dialogue of what you need rather than us imposing stuff on you.
And I'm just conscious of time for all the students watching as well and on social as well. So we'll wrap it up with one final question. There's actually been two people asked this question, but it's all relevant to one. Now, are there any guest lectures or opportunities to hear from people working in the industry? And likewise, is there an event where you can get in touch with current students or recent graduates or alumni?
Yeah. So we've got, like I said, a couple of postgraduate open days coming up, both virtual and in person. I believe there's one in October. I can't remember exactly the date, but if you go onto our website, it's there, and I'm sure we'll follow up with more information after this webinar as well. There's also many different lectures that go on at Kingston that are open to the public. So if you go into the events page, there's that. And again, like I said, if you want more information and support. Unfortunately, if you're sick of my voice, I run half of them. So, but yes, we run a full range of webinars throughout the year to help and support you. And we are doing it's not quite confirmed yet, but it's in November. We're doing an alumni panel where we are bringing our alumni to talk about their experience, what amazing things they've done, and what their experience is like doing a postgraduate degree.
Well, these types of webinars are great because we've heard from Sim, we've heard from Annabelle, go through their experiences at the university. So if you are interested and you want to find out more information, please find out more by heading over to these events more and more, whether it's with us or whether it is with Ben. Whether or not you're fed up with his voice or not is a different thing. I can tell you, it's the same everywhere. So Ben, we're going to wrap things up. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate that. To the two students as well that have joined us, Annabelle and Sim, thank you for your time. Really appreciate you for joining us, and LV in the background also. If anyone has any questions, please email webinars@postgradsolutions.com. Reminder, this is a live session, and today's date is the 28th of August, 2025. So if you have any questions that are not entirely relevant to that time, please bear that in mind. And likewise, like Ben mentioned, there are multiple webinars that are taking place. If you are an international student, head over to their website, find out more information, register, and go on and hopefully enroll in the great town of Kingston. But for now, thank you very much. We look forward to hearing more from you, and we look forward to seeing you on the next webinar, whether it be accommodation or studies. Take care. Bye-bye.